Oh, we're ready.
Great. Good evening, everyone. 7:30, we'll call this meeting to order. Sunshine notice, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publication in the Home News and Tribune. Can I ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance.
Of the United States of America. To the republic which stands
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have one space heater here. If anybody's freezing, I'm willing to move it.
I'm good.
Roll call.
Mr. Zangara,
Here.
Mr. Melanson,
Here.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Here.
Mr. Lewis, Ms. Malvone,
Here.
Mr. Rich, Mr. Rubenstein, Mr. Vigna,
Here.
Ms. Vito, Mr. Brooks, Ms. DeCandia.
Here.
Let it roll.
Just a general announcement, no testimony will be heard after 10 p.m. Minutes from the December 3rd meeting. There's no question on the minutes. A motion to approve.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
Can we roll call that? Can we do all in favor on that?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Minutes are approved. I guess the first item up is the 2025 elections, selection of planning board secretary, chairman, vice chairman, and adopt the rules of procedures. And we're going to discuss the RFQs received for professional service agreements. It should be in the So first up, can I get a nomination for planning board secretary?
I'll nominate Janice Larkin.
I'll second that. Roll call.
Mr. Zangara,
Yes.
Mr. Melanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Ms. Malvone,
Yes.
Mr. Vigna,
Yes.
Great. Thank
Ms.
you.
DeCandia.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Danny's always made that motion in the past, Janice, for the last however many years you've been here.
I know. Very true.
The election of chairman. I think Danny's been off the board for a little bit, though.
I nominate Rich Zangara for chairman.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Zangara,
Yeah.
Mr. Melanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Ms. Malvone,
Yes.
Mr. Vigna,
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia.
Yes.
Next up is election of vice chairman. If I can make a motion to adopt Mr. Melanson, who does a great job, and sooner or later, hope, I don't know, if you're staying on the board, the seat might be open someday. Since he can be the board.
Did you nominate Pat? Or
I did, so last for a second.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Mr. Zangara,
Yes.
Mr. Melanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Oh, yes.
Ms. Malvone,
Yes.
Mr. Vigna,
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia.
Yes.
And we need to adopt our rules of procedure. I don't believe there was any changes, correct?
Not that I'm aware of. Janice, anything? Nothing changed, right?
No.
Sarah didn't make any recommendations for change?
Motion to adopt? I'll make the
So moved.
I'll second that. Roll call?
Mr. Zangara,
Yes.
Mr. Melanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Ms. Malvone,
Yes.
Mr. Vigna,
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia.
Yes.
We also do a resolution for that that's coming up.
Okay. Discuss the RFQs received for professional service agreements.
We just did.
Mr. Vigna, that's usually your,
Yeah, so we have, we have 3 professional service agreements, and we have a program where submittals come in and you put points in, and it spits out who the highest rated firm is. So the first one is authorization for an agreement to serve as consulting engineers. And for the gazillionth year in a row, the recommendation was to go with CME Associates, who've done a great job for the last, I don't know, other than a couple of years, most of the last 25 years.
Great. Are you,
Do we, Janice, I can't remember if Sarah said we had to vote individually on these, or just all together?
I think we usually do individually.
Individually?
Do a motion and a second, and we vote.
well, I'll make a motion. Are you making the motion? Well, you can just,
I'll make a motion that we hire CME Associates as consulting engineers.
I'll second it.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Ms. Malvone?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
The second one is for legal counsel, and Sarah has, Sarah is the third attorney over the years that we've had from Shane Schaffer, but Sarah is outstanding, and the firm has tremendous background support, and every year the analysis comes up that they are clearly of the submissions that come in, the recommended legal counsel. So I make a motion. Unless anybody, has any other discussion, I make a motion that Shane Schaffer be retained again as our planning board attorney.
Is there a second?
Second.
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 Anybody second it? You second? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Ms. Malvone?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
Now, the third professional service agreement, for those of you who are new in the board, authorization of a professional service agreement for engineering consulting services in connection with the North Brunswick Transit-Oriented Development Transit Village. What Maurice Rashid from Mazer Consulting did all kinds of analysis for the township before we rezoned the Transit Village property. They were involved in all the site plan issues related to traffic on that property. So over the years, we have wanted to maintain Maurice from Mazer because of his background. I mean, literally, there were traffic and design standards built in, things that had to be done, improvements that had to be done to Route 1, improvements that were done at Aaron Road and Route 1, the improvements that were done now, when you cross over Adams Lane to Cousins Lane, you don't have to make the right-hand turn by Midas. All those improvements, those things are recommended by Maurice Rashid from Mazer, and their company was bought out by Collier's Engineering and Design, but Maurice is still there, and the recommendation is that we go with Collier's Engineering and Design for any specific traffic-related issues that might come up or for future phases related to the Transit Village, and only the Transit Village.
And that's assuming that,
Maurice is still there? Yeah, well, Maurice told me recently, I spoke to him just before Christmas, he told me he didn't have any plans to go anywhere for another couple of years, so.
right, but he's the point person, right? The new.
Yeah, Maurice, knows, the traffic is, Maurice is the guy. So I make a motion that we retain Collier's Engineer and Design for those specific engineering, traffic engineering-related matters having to do with the Transit Village.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, okay. Roll call.
Mr. Zangara?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Ms. Malvone?
Yes.
Mr. Vigna?
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia?
Yes.
And, well, we do need to adopt the resolution, right? So the resolution to adopt the planning board rules of procedure for 2025. It was on the first page as well, so That was a positive vote. So should we say all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. And we have one memorialization, the NBTOD Associates LLC, Phase 1G, Building L-2, 2300 US Route 1, the Talmud District, Block 141, Lot 43, amended, preliminary and final major site plan, an amended preliminary and final major subdivision application.
It's not going, it's going right by the transit village.
Ms. Sarah, can you hear us there?
That's where it's going.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Mr. Chairman.
They're building
Was there
over there.
anything we need to know regarding the resolutions that was added? Or any?
No, I think it accurately reflects the board's decision. I will note that that one of the conditions is that they install the additional buffering landscape that was discussed as a condition of approval. Other than that, it's pretty standard, and I think it's been reviewed by your professionals, and it reflects what the board's decision was.
Great, thank you. So if no further questions from the board, a motion to adopt resolution?
I mean, I made the motion to approve the application, so not to hog all the motions tonight. Normally, I don't do this, but I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, I'll second. Roll call?
Mr. Zangara,
Yes.
Mr. Melanson,
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Ms. Melvone,
Yes.
Mr. Vigna,
Yes.
Ms. DeCandia.
Yes.
Great, thank you. There are no new applications this evening. We do have a request for extension, GRMS Holdings, 389 Old Georges Road, Block 226, Lot 19. Site plan approval with variances. They're, do we know when they're coming back, or?
This is the attorney that represents that
Okay,
applicant.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Triolo, the law firm of Bidiger, Elias, Triolo, and Deal. I represent the applicant and owner, GRMS Holdings, and I sent a letter and requested that this board grant a one-year extension of time to complete what they have to do with the site plan. The engineers have been in contact with each other and have resolved, as I understand it, most of the major issues. There are still a few stragglers that have to be addressed, and I just want to make sure that there's enough time to get that done, get the plans to you for signature, so I'd like a one-year extension of the approval.
okay.
Jim, is this the small office, is this the small office building off of Old Georges Road where there's some inside parking towards the rear of the property?
Yes.
Right, and
It had
the applicant has a business located in town presently, but he needed more space, so you just haven't been able to get coordination on all the engineering items worked out with the county and the township?
There were, it had a complex drainage system underground. Your engineer rightfully requested that the lighting be placed onto the plans with all of the details because you have the residential owner next door. I believe they're in the process of getting that done to his satisfaction. We had to deal with the plants to make sure that they don't attract bees because of the neighbor's allergy. So I think accumulation, and the engineer also had some family issues that she bumped into, which delayed her. And, but she's been in touch with your engineer, and it appears to me, as an attorney, that the engineers have a good working relationship, and I'm pretty confident that they will get the matter resolved.
So is this the building that has, going to have a couple charging stations in the garage for the employees? The first floor doesn't have a bathroom, if I remember correctly? Or it was going to be capped, right?
I don't remember that. I mean, towards the back of the first floor, there's going to be some interior parking, so there's actually some parking within the building, but I don't remember about that.
That's okay, I think that's where it is.
I don't know.
I remember the neighbors with.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but it's, it's a local business person who needed more room to expand, and they, got all approvals, and as I think Jim obviously knows too, they don't have above-ground detention, so there were a lot of questions about the weight of firefighting apparatus and whatever when they came in there, so there were a lot of issues to work out. The site is going to be fully
Yeah.
developed, yeah.
Right. I mean,
If
I
you
don't see-
will recall, when we came in with the application, the entrance to that garage was adjacent to the property owner, and you asked as a condition of approval that the building be flipped
Yeah.
because the neighbor said that she'd rather look at a building than cars going in and out.
That's correct.
So the whole thing, the whole site plan had to be turned on
Right.
its head, and all the grading redone, and all of the drainage collectors had to be reset and everything, and that's the lighting. So it all it took a little bit longer than it should have. It should have been done, but it hasn't been, but they have worked really hard, and I believe that the flip has been
Yes.
completed.
And we received the submission at the end of the year, and we got through a initial review of it. I have a draft letter, so we'll be sending back what comments aren't addressed, but just a little more back and forth, and we'll be okay.
I mean, I don't see a problem. I don't have a problem with it. There's no,
No, it's gonna be-
is there any
Yeah.
legal issue? I mean, is there a certain?
No, it's not. And just the funny thing about this, they came in beforehand and met with professionals, and we recommended that because the house next door is so close to the property, they put the building on the other side, so they didn't have, a high building so close to their property. And then the neighbor came in and said, I'd rather have the building than the parking. So they designed it, we had them design it to get the building as far away from the neighbor's property, and then the neighbor said she wanted the exact opposite. That'll teach you to come and meet with the professionals beforehand. So, yeah. What was that?
The neighbor, on the neighbors.
Okay, so,
We have a vote and approval?
Yeah. Oh, there's just one thing I wanted to point out. This says 6 months extension, but you said a year.
I
So
can't hear you.
This said 6 months extension,
Yeah, that's me.
but the letter says 6 months, but you're saying a year.
I'm asking for a year because I spoke with the engineer beforehand, and when I wrote the letter, I thought everything was done. And when I spoke to him, he said there's still a few comments that he needs addressed, and I just want a little bit of buffer of time. But I can tell you that my client would like to start construction in April, so I'm going to have my engineer focus on allowing my client to apply for building permits.
so Sarah, as long as you have on the record, we're asking for a one-year extension. We don't need a new letter, do we?
No, we're on the record.
Okay. If the board doesn't have any questions, I guess so. We need a motion to grant a one-year,
Yep, we need a motion.
motion to grant a one-year extension on this project.
Second.
So moved.
Okay, I'll make that motion. Ms.
Yeah,
Melton
okay.
seconds. The roll call?
Mr. Zangara? Mr. Melanson?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchinson?
Yes.
Ms. Malvone?
Yes.
Mr. Vigno?
Yes.
Ms. Candia?
Yes.
I thank you all very much, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Since we didn't have any new applications, I just need a motion to open the vast public for any,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to close the public portion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our next board meeting will be February 11th, 7:30. Mr. Melanson?
Motion we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so 20 minutes, not 10 minutes.